Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for sticking around for the first half hour. We were very pleased that our friend of the show, Michael Libby, is here. We're going to get into some talk about his candidate for the 3rd Congressional District, Desmond Adams. We're going to figure out or get some updates, see where he is on the trail, whether or not he's started the rumors of the increase in his support over the district are true. But Doc, I know that you are anxious to say something.
Now, first of all, I can tell you, as a conservative and as a Republican, we would enjoy it if the campuses would become more politically diverse, because right now you have 90% of all professors voting Democrat and supporting Democrats, and you get a lot of Republicans and conservatives run off the campuses. So, yeah, we would support more diversity. Second thing is, the reason I'm making a comparison between the two educational systems is between, us and a privately funded and places where they fully support getting a degree, is the value of that degree does fall. You can't get a job. The most highly toughest degree to get here in the United States, I don't care who you are, is a medical degree. And over there, they've made it so that, if you want to be a doc, come on through because we could use some more. But now there's so many that to be able to compete, which is what they're having to do, they're working as cab drivers. Which brings me to the next point. A lot of these countries that have a free educational system are paying 75, 80% of their taxes, or their income in taxes. So where do you think all this money is going to come from to provide this free education? Now, you
want an answer to that question?
I do, but I need to say this next part. I'm all for trade schools. Go ahead. Take it away, Mike.
Let's start with Apple.
All right, let's start with them.
So if Apple Corporation would stop offshoring all of their profits, those mega bazillions of dollars in profits, and start paying taxes on that, that would go a long way to fix infrastructure, to fix all kinds of things in this country. And Apple's just the tip of the iceberg. So when we look at these corporations that have got a free ride, you want to talk about a free ride? They've had a free ride for years. And they continue to shelter.
Why do they offshore that money then?
Because
why do they shelter it?
Because it's all about profits and investors. That's what it's about.
Well,
it's
you
not
don't
about.
Think it has anything to do with the crushing corporate tax burden?
No, it has nothing to do with the crushing corporate tax burden.
So we have the highest tax burden in the U.S. in the world for
please,
corporations.
Please, Doc.
And yet you don't think that has
this is not this is incorrect. This is not the most crushing tax burden on corporations. If all corporations had a level playing field, we would all be doing a lot better. We all do better when we all do better. And so, when we talk about paying for programs, whatever those programs happen to be, there are ways to fix those. There are ways to find money for those if we close some of these erroneous tax loopholes that are out there that the corporations take advantage of left and right. And
like GE?
And the list goes on and on.
Yeah. I just want to point out again that GE is a giant loopholes and also a giant supporter of the Democratic Party and President Obama. And so my position here is if you have a 39.5% tax bracket and the next highest country is down at 30%, that is going to incentivize these corporations to move offshore because as well as I do, Apple's profit is on a percentage margin at 9.3%. If you're looking at paying 3 to 4% of that margin in an extra tax, aren't you going to move offshore so that you can keep reinvesting in your company?
Absolutely not. When we talk about reinvestment of companies, it doesn't take trillions of dollars to reinvest in a company that's already the world's largest company. So the answer to the question is, let's make these things much more fair and equitable. We can pay for what needs to be done here in this country. And this country is writhing in all kinds of issues. From infrastructure, from roads to bridges. Back in 1956, we started the interstate highway. It was President Eisenhower. And it cost $119 billion to do that. If we fast forward 50 years with inflation, that's about $15 trillion today. And today, President Obama said, you know, what I'd like to do is tax a barrel of oil at $10.20 into 2022 and raise $319 billion for infrastructure for our roads and highways and bridges. That seems like a bargain to me when you take a look at what it would have cost us to replace what we have.
Now, here's my problem with that $10 a barrel tax. We just got done having a conservative governor, Republican, raise taxes by 10 cents a gallon. Doesn't seem like that much. Here's what the problem is. None of it's gone really to the old infrastructure.
That's right.
And that's the problem.
And where did it go?
When you start giving money to the government, it never goes where it's supposed to. It's always a political payoff. It doesn't matter what you do.
But where did it go?
Yeah, pay it.
I can tell you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, it went to buying land up in northern Iowa for a continuation of Highway 20.
Yeah, that's not fixing our infrastructure. That's adding to it. And the problem, and that's what you get when you. It doesn't matter what side. I'm not picking on the Democrats in this particular issue. I'm saying that there's always a whole lot of money. You can keep taxing people, but at what point do you go? Well, hold on. When you start taking money away from people that are participating in your economy, what happens is then there's less money to participate in the economy with.
Well,
it's like a giant game of Monopoly.
I'll jump in here to put an end to this because we got to move on to other things. But just the final shot would be when we're not really talking about the fact or the idea that government can't do things and that government shouldn't do things. You're creating a false choice between the government never being able to do anything effectively ever and the fact that the private sector always can, and that's just not how it works. We know that, and that's a perfect segue to the one candidate that I've heard from personally that has some solutions to bridge that divide, and that's Desmond Adams. So
let's take a break. We'll come right back with Desmond Adams. Okay. 2 corrections from my nephew Tyler, who is, God bless him, has too much brains for his own good. 1, world's largest company is Coca-Cola. And then 2, doctors are looked down in China, and they only make about $15K per year. He's a guy that would know that because there's no, you always think that I'm a world traveler. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he beats me. So I'll be right back. Please stay tuned. We're going to be talking about Desmond Adams, which I think is exciting. Well, I think we have a real challenger here to David Young. And so we'll be talking about his campaign. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Without you, we wouldn't be able to sit here and do what we do. We want to thank all of our sponsors. Des Moines Anesthesia PC at 515-574-6442. They do anesthesia and pain management. So, and we know that pain management doctors are getting really hard to find. So please give them a call, and they will get it set up for you. Lubinas Law Firm, who is my partner in crime over here at LubinasLawFirm.com. Bertrosian Associates at BertrosianAssociates.com. Halo Capital at DesMoinesInterestrates.com. Go check out Michael Libby's show, Insight on Business. You're on KRNA, right?
No, we're on AM 940,
AM 940.
FM 104.5, and if you're really cool and you've got an HD receiver, it's 103.3 HD2.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be back to talk about Desmond Adams with Michael Libby.